carefully. Prepare to land.
Sir? Where, sir?
I don't know. I'm still deciding.
It's Christmas Eve, 1999, and a seemingly normal flight from Kathmandu to New Delhi is about to turn into a nightmare that would stretch across several days. Indian Airlines flight IC-814, an Airbus A300, is about to be hijacked, and its passengers are in for a ride that no one could have predicted. But before this plane lands in the darkened streets of Kandahar, a lot will happen. At Tribhuvan International Airport in Kathmandu, everything seems typical for an international departure. Passengers are calmly waiting to board their flights, and the crew is preparing for the journey ahead. Among them is Captain Devi Sharan, an experienced pilot, along with his first officer, Rajinder Kumar, and flight engineer, Anil Kumar Jagia. The crew goes through their pre-flight checks without a hitch, ensuring the aircraft is ready for the short flight to New Delhi, India. Outside, passengers board the plane, and the atmosphere is light and casual. Unbeknownst to anyone, 5 men disguised as ordinary passengers are preparing for a much darker purpose. These hijackers, masked and armed with guns and explosives, make their way through security without drawing suspicion. They carry out their plan flawlessly, blending in with the crowd. Their tickets, purchased weeks earlier under fake names, reflect their careful preparation, ensuring they evade attention. The hijackers' mission is clear: seize control of the plane and hold everyone aboard hostage. While the hijackers are making their way onto the plane, intelligence agencies in India, particularly RAW, have intercepted a vague message suggesting an imminent hijacking. However, the warning lacks specifics, no details on the flight or timing. This lack of clarity results in the intelligence being dismissed. The hijackers, fully aware of this missed opportunity, board the plane without any obstacles, further deepening the sense of complacency in preventing such threats. The situation in the airport seems perfectly under control, but there's an underlying tension that will soon erupt. With the hijackers in place and the crew unaware of the impending danger, everything seems normal, yet a disaster is looming. This moment highlights the delicate balance of intelligence work. While there was a warning without specific details, authorities failed to act. Had better intelligence been available, this hijacking may have been prevented altogether. At 4 p.m., the plane departs from Kathmandu, and Captain Sharan and his crew settle into their routine duties. Passengers enjoy a relaxing atmosphere, unaware of the imminent danger. The hijackers, however, are biding their time, waiting for the right moment to strike. Without warning, one of the hijackers, wearing a ski mask, grabs a flight attendant, Anil Sharma, and demands access to the cockpit, claiming to have a bomb. The calm flight turns chaotic in an instant as the first signs of the hijacking emerge. The hijackers swiftly assert control, brandishing guns and ordering everyone on board to put on blindfolds. The fear among passengers is palpable as the hijackers take charge of the situation, isolating the crew from the passengers and issuing their demands. With their weapons and careful coordination, the hijackers, known by their aliases Chief, Burger, Doctor, Shankar, and Bola, have the upper hand. They show no hesitation, signaling that they are prepared to follow through with their plan, no matter the consequences. The once calm and pleasant flight quickly devolves into a nightmare. As the hijackers tighten their grip, forcing the crew and passengers into submission, the reality of the situation sets in. The crew and passengers must adjust to the horrifying new reality of being held hostage. The hijackers' threats are serious, and there is no way out without complying with their demands. The tension continues to mount as everyone realizes they are now at the mercy of the hijackers. The hijackers' ultimate goal becomes clear. They intend to divert the plane to a location of their choosing, where they can negotiate with authorities. This adds immense pressure to Captain Sharan and his crew, as every decision they make will directly impact the safety of everyone on board. Captain Sharan, calm and focused, must now navigate through this perilous situation, balancing the safety of the passengers with the demands of the hijackers. As the situation intensifies, the crew's decisions will determine whether the situation can be diffused or escalate into a deadly confrontation. Captain D.V. Sharan, a seasoned and level-headed pilot, faces an unimaginable challenge as the hijackers take control of the plane. The hijackers demand that he fly west toward Lahore, Pakistan, but Captain Sharan knows the plane lacks the fuel to make the journey. His first priority is to stall and buy time, hoping to find a way to outmaneuver the hijackers. He explains that the plane cannot reach Lahore, hoping that the hijackers will back down. However, they are well prepared and familiar with the plane's fuel capacity, pressing him to comply. The captain's dilemma grows more complex as the hijackers refuse to relent. They threaten to kill passengers if their demands are not met, and time is running out. Captain Sharan must think quickly, balancing his professional duty as a pilot with the very real danger posed by the hijackers. Every word he speaks, every move he makes, could have dire consequences. The pressure is immense, as he understands that one wrong decision could escalate the violence or result in the loss of lives. In these moments, Captain Sharan must rely on his training, experience, and instinct to navigate through the crisis. His role is no longer simply to fly the plane. He is responsible for the lives of everyone aboard, and every decision he makes could change the course of the situation. The crew, too, must work in unison, supporting the captain's decisions, offering information, and remaining calm. They know the stakes are high, and their teamwork may be the only way to ensure the safety of the passengers. The hijackers continue to assert control, and the situation grows more tense with every passing minute. The captain must find a way to keep the hijackers engaged without making them more aggressive, all while trying to find a solution that doesn't put the passengers in further danger. It's a delicate balancing act that will ultimately determine how this high-stakes situation unfolds. As the hijacked plane flies further from its intended course, Captain Sharan faces the ultimate decision. The hijackers are growing more impatient, demanding that the plane fly to Lahore and threatening violence if their orders are not followed. Captain Sharan understands that this is a critical moment, one that will define the outcome for the passengers and crew. He must remain composed and continue to negotiate with the hijackers, all while making sure that his decisions do not escalate the situation. Captain Sharan knows that any wrong decision could result in tragedy, and this knowledge weighs heavily on him. His main goal is to ensure the safety of everyone aboard, but the hijackers are not backing down. They are prepared to follow through on their threats, and the stakes couldn't be higher. The captain's ability to think clearly and maintain control will be essential in keeping the situation from spiraling out of control. The crew's role is just as critical. First Officer Rajinder Kumar and Flight Engineer Anil Kumar Jagia must continue to support the captain, keeping him informed of the situation in the cockpit and ensuring all systems are functioning properly. Their ability to remain calm and focused is just as important as Captain Sharan's leadership. In these intense moments, their cohesion could make all the difference in surviving the ordeal. As the plane moves deeper into the hijackers' control, the pressure on the crew only increases. The hijackers are not simply asking for a change in direction. They are demanding control of the plane's future. The decision of whether to comply, resist, or find another way forward remains in Captain Sharan's hands, and the next few moments will be crucial in determining whether they will make it out of this situation alive. As the plane continues to head toward Pakistan, the situation grows more dire. Captain Sharan knows that if the plane crosses into Pakistan, there might be no turning back. He slows the plane down in an attempt to keep it in Indian airspace for as long as possible, but soon they are flying over the Punjab region, dangerously close to the Pakistan border. The captain contacts Lahore ATC, requesting permission to land. But Pakistan refuses. Not only do they deny landing rights, but they also shut down the airspace over Lahore. The hijackers, meanwhile, are demanding to land immediately. The plane is running low on fuel, and Amritsar, India, is just a few minutes away. But the hijackers are adamant. They will not land on Indian soil. With fuel running out and no help from Indian authorities, Captain Sharan decides to act on his own. He convinces the hijackers that they have no other choice but to land in India, or they will crash. The hijackers reluctantly agree. The plane makes its way to Amritsar, where for a brief moment, there's hope. Would you say Captain Sharan did the right thing? It's a tough call when lives are at stake. The plane lands at Amritsar's Raja Sansi Airport at 6:44 p.m. India time. This is the moment where Indian forces could have stepped in and saved the day. But instead, a massive blunder occurs. The crisis management team at Amritsar receives instructions from Delhi to delay refueling and prevent the plane from taking off at all costs. The local Punjab police are told not to engage with the hijackers, and the commandos, who are stationed 500 kilometers away in Delhi, haven't even left yet. The hijackers are growing increasingly frustrated and threaten to kill passengers if their demands aren't met. As tensions rise, a fuel truck with local commandos is sent to the plane, but the truck stops in the middle of the runway. This random, inexplicable move alarms the hijackers, and they order Captain Sharan to take off immediately, despite the plane having little fuel left. Captain Sharan refuses. A standoff ensues. The hijackers are on edge. Then, one of them, Doctor, stabs a passenger named Rupin Katyal. The situation is rapidly deteriorating. Captain Sharan is left with no choice. He reluctantly announces that they are taking off and heading toward Lahore, even though there's almost no chance of survival. This is where the tension is at its peak. What do you think the Indian authorities should have done differently at this point? The opportunity to save the hostages is slipping away. As the hijacked plane departs from Amritsar, the situation grows even more dire for the passengers and crew. The Indian authorities had their chance to prevent the hijackers from gaining control, but that opportunity is now gone. With limited options left, the plane continues its journey toward Pakistan, entering foreign airspace once again. Pakistani authorities, already on high alert, are unwilling to take any chances. They quickly deny the request for the plane to land, making the situation even more tense. The hijackers' demands have not been met, and the authorities in Pakistan, fearing the worst, threaten to shoot the plane down if it does not comply. In a desperate bid to regain control of the situation, the Pakistani authorities take drastic measures. They shut down the runway lights and navigation aids, leaving the crew completely in the dark. This move is intended to prevent the plane from landing, effectively forcing the hijackers to continue their journey or risk running out of fuel. The decision adds a layer of uncertainty and danger, as Captain Sharan and his team are left with no guidance in navigating the plane back toward the ground. The situation has escalated to the point where any misstep could have catastrophic consequences. As the fuel levels drop dangerously low, Captain Sharan knows that time is running out. With just 5 minutes of fuel remaining, he spots a row of lights in the distance. He hopes that these lights might be the runway, a final opportunity to land safely. The captain begins to descend, hoping against hope that this will be his last chance to save everyone on board. However, as the plane gets closer to the ground, a shocking realization sets in. The lights he's been following are not from a runway, but from cars and trucks on a highway. The plane is about to land on a busy road, not an airport. Realizing the danger of landing on a highway, Captain Sharan pulls back, but the Pakistani authorities finally relent, fearing a catastrophe. The runway lights are turned on, and the plane lands safely at 8 p.m. Elite Pakistani commandos secure the situation as the hijacking ends. However, one wonders if earlier action by Pakistan could have prevented this prolonged crisis. Had they acted sooner, the outcome might have been safer and quicker. The hijackers now demand to refuel and continue their journey. Pakistan agrees to refuel the plane but refuses to let any passengers disembark. The injured passenger, Rupin Katyal, continues to bleed to death inside the plane. The hijackers refuse to let anyone off. After a tense 3 hours, the plane finally takes off again, heading toward Afghanistan. This is where things get even more complicated. The hijackers order the plane to fly to Kabul, but due to a lack of landing facilities, the plane is diverted to Oman. Oman also refuses entry, and the plane eventually lands in the UAE, near Dubai. By this time, Rupin Katyal has passed away. His wife, Rachna Katyal, who was seated at the back of the plane, is still unaware of his death. The hijackers, however, continue to make demands. The UAE allows some passengers to disembark, but the situation is still far from over. The plane eventually takes off again, flying toward an uncertain future. On December 31st, 1999, the plane lands in Kandahar, Afghanistan, a city controlled by the Taliban. the hijackers have one final demand: the release of 3 militants. The Indian government is forced to negotiate with the hijackers and the Taliban. The 3 militants are released from Indian jails and flown to Kandahar, where they are exchanged for the hostages. The hijackers, having gotten what they wanted, release the passengers, and the nightmare is finally over. But the cost of this ordeal is high. Several lives were lost, including Rupan Katyal's, and the Indian government's handling of the crisis remains a topic of debate to this day. In the end, the tragedy of IC-814 raised serious questions about how the authorities responded, both in India and abroad. The hijacking highlighted the need for better intelligence, faster responses, and more coordination between countries in dealing with such threats. What do you think? Was there something that could have been done earlier to prevent the tragedy? Would better coordination have saved lives? This story, though painful, is a powerful reminder of the need for vigilance and quick action when it comes to security. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel.